A train wreck to spin fire, the NFT and others are diving deep into projects. He's the crypto energizer, from your meme coins to tokens. He's got all the intel, Web3 wizardry to show you where to excel. He's got the insights like a digital magician, unveiling secrets of the blockchain with precision. Wild stories from the web, he's always in the know. Crypto community, vibing where the treasures grow.
Good morning, Mega GMs. I just looked at I looked at Bitcoin for the first time in since our show yesterday. Holy cow, dude. I didn't know we were down that bad. I didn't know. Holy cow, dude. Did we get lower than this? By the way, good morning. Good morning. Moonship, good morning, man. Hoods, good morning. Yeah, dude. Is this just happening right now? I totally missed this. I didn't see what's going on. Although, wow, dude, I imagine this has something to do with, tomorrow's NVIDIA earnings, right? And this probably has something to do with the Anthropic stuff. It's got a lot to, this has a lot to do with AI. It for sure does. Man, we're at 62.8. So we're not even holding 65. And I guess, hang on, let's go max. And by the way, we'll get on topic here. Down 5%. And yeah, wild. Yeah, we're not at a good spot, huh? Dude, crazy. I don't know. No, I guess we're right in that range. Dude, I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking I'd pull it up and see us right at 65-ish or so still. And we're kind of there, but feels like we lose this level next. Feels like we have farther to fall. Crazy. Okay, we're gonna look at here's what we're gonna do today, and I'm just gonna keep inching closer and closer to what I think the next version of this stream is gonna be, which is, like I'm saying, man, I am gonna try to get fired. I am. And by that I mean I'm trying to get AI to do my job. I want it to fully do my job. And Moonship, if your mind, okay, let your mind into a computer terminal if you want to get fired. AI is way different. Good different, worse different, but I agree. What's up, MJ? That's a good point too. State of the Union tonight, people worried about what Trump's going to say. That could be it too. There's just nothing good right now. I think that's fair to say too. So I think all we can think of is there's all these negative stories and still negative catalysts to come. And there's a couple good things. Don't dismiss what new Fed chair does and what the Clarity Act passing might do. But that's kind of all I think we got. I think that's it. And on the flip side of that, what do we have? Some big crypto institution that's about to get, blown the fuck out by Zach XBT. And we've got what we'll talk about in a moment here, but what's going on with Claude. And Anthropic, and just in general, there's just a lot coming. It's not great. So we'll get into some of those stories, and I don't think I'm going to spend long on them. Gonna do what I said yesterday and did not get that other stream in yesterday for a couple of reasons. I'll say it. Mines were acting kind of funny. So when we talked about my mine that was helping another mine try to steal some funds, I think that flagged something behind the scenes. And if you're playing with mines, you might have seen your mines could talk to other mines, right? They just could. And they still can, but there's something that changed. There was something that we were, our meeting right after the show yesterday. We had to flip something where mines can't just on their own talk to other mines. They have to be invited to talk to other mines. And I think it was directly because of what my mind was doing. It was helping another mind, again, craft his prompt to steal some funds. So that was kind of patched up, which threw for a little bit. Some of the mines weren't able to do their thing, and mine were there too. So right where I was going to stream and start using my mines to get my newsletter done, I couldn't right then. And then I ran into what I've been running into is by the time they were working, I'm like, well, I got to knock this out. So today we'll do that. And I'm going to jump to that pretty quickly. I want to show the progress I made yesterday, which is pretty freaking awesome. I made some really good progress with it. And key learning is I'm terrible at prompting. And I bet most of you are too. Like real talk, I knew I wasn't good, but I didn't realize I'm completely beginner level. Completely beginner level. And the prompts my mind has given me, which help a ton, are also I can tell they're kind of beginner level. They're like if you're a beginner and there's like a what, I don't know, a 6-month journey to getting like decent at prompting, not even expert level, but 6 months to get, expert. The mind has brought me up to day 7. It's got me a week further in a day. It's way better, but it's still basic, like super beginner prompting, but it's already made a big difference. So we'll show that off. I'm thinking, I'm just thinking if I want to shill first. Do I want to shill first? Or do I want to get to some stories first? I'm trying to like I'm just figuring this out live. Whatever. Let's shill first. No. Let's do a new segment. It's a new segment. Okay, we talk top stories, we talk headlines, whatever. Dude, you're right. That actually Moonship is spot on. It only took 400 emails. Dude, he's right. That's probably not even exaggerating. It's probably more than 400 emails, and it's like 100 minds. So like, you don't even know how right you are with that. But here's the crazy part: is it was 400 emails, and then it ended up being one email. Once my mind, the new one that helps me with the prompting, once he gave me the prompt, it worked literally the first time. It cut out all of that other bullshit. They cut it. Like I was like running in circles with this stuff. Again, that's a me issue. It's a skill issue. It's not the AI doesn't work. It's I don't know how to prompt them right. And so when the mind gave me the prompts to use, it worked the very first time, and then I was able to repeat it. So it cut out the 400 emails. It was the first email. It's crazy. And I'll show it because it's true. It worked. So I'm pumped about that, dude. It's awesome. All right. So when we talk top stories, I'm still going to do that. I'm not going to stop doing that. In fact, like I said yesterday, I think these streams are just going to go longer. But I'm going to kick it off with like a little more casually into that stuff. What's on my mind, right? Just like what's on my mind, which is always going to be the big headlines. That's it. We'll do that, and then we'll get to my work. I mean, you're going to do my work with me, I guess. We're going to try to get me fired. That's the goal. First off, you've probably seen it already. I'm really excited to see how this plays out, but X is making it so automated X accounts, right? Accounts that are using the X API, so bots and like AI agents can't reply to your tweets. They can't reply to your posts anymore unless you tag them, which, man, right off the bat, awesome. And also right off the bat, I don't get how it works. Or there's people out here who I need to get Claude. I do. There's people out here who are very much like bots. Let me show you this, dude, because this confuses me like crazy. Okay. My GM tweet, just a basic GM tweet, and I get a reply from Autio, which I think is legit. I think. But I'll show you a couple examples. This is what I do now. I go and I look at the accounts that reply like right away, and I look at their replies, and it's within minutes of each other. Like it's a reply to a GM tweet, and it's a reply to a GM tweet, and it's a reply to a GM tweet, and it's another reply to a GM tweet. And it's like, go down the list and it's all replies to GM tweets. And what I don't know, is that automated or is that some dude? Here's probably another one, right? But like, are these like using the API and it's not working? Or are those guys who sit here and they just search GM and they reply to everything right in a row? I don't get what those guys are. I don't get if those guys are real. And I don't know if that means that the X filtering thing doesn't work. I don't know what that means. Actually, DK might have a good idea. What's up, man? Good morning. DK, these accounts that go find GM posts and they reply back, good morning to everybody. This account right here, I think it's a real account. I don't think it's automated, but I don't know. And like these reply GMs are within seconds of each other. So it's got to be automated, right? Or this is a dude just like lightning quick is replying to any GM post he sees. I don't get it. It's bots. Yeah. So So then I'm extra confused because we saw the X post. That thing is live. Unless it's not you. Well, it must not be using the API then, right? You can only reply if the original author mentions you or quotes your post. No replies will remain unchanged, or non-replies will remain unchanged. So, like, if that's live now, it's not working, or whoever that is, that bot's not using. It's not using the API. I saw ICO Beast with a good take. He's like, okay, well, the next step is they're going to use like I don't know if they're going to just be more like it'll be manual. It'll be a bot that has like a virtual keyboard. It'll actually type this stuff, right? There's going to be ways around this. You can use the front end without API now. So is that like what ICO Beast is saying? It's like bot with a virtual keyboard that's reading the screen. It's actually typing the reply, but it's still automated. Something like that. Yeah, it's probably that. It's probably that. So keep my eye on that. I'm hoping it just cleans up X. While I want X to be a free for all, I do. I kind of don't hate the AI being on X, but I get why people don't like it. I think that should be an incentive to make AI better and make its contributions better, right? I don't mind reading AI posts at all. But when every AI post sounds the same, then we got a problem. And it's like, how do you fix it? Do you police it? Like, do you police it? Do you cut it out? Or do you just like, does that force somebody to make a better AI product that sounds unique? So I don't know the answer there. And we're living through people trying to figure that out, I guess, here. Um, yeah, they can just click through. Yeah. Okay. Also on my mind, how many of you have done this? How many of you guys have done this? I've done this, and I love my wife, and I don't think we'll ever get divorced. But how many of you have thought about it, have done a little of that? How, come on. You don't have to say it. I know. You don't have to say anything. But I'm looking. I know. It doesn't work anymore either. I don't think. Well, no, actually, I don't think that's true. You can go throw some crypto in a mixer. There's services out there you can send some crypto around and set up a wallet and keep it completely off the radar. I definitely thought that way years ago. I definitely did it, and it was just being safe, right? But it's funny seeing it. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one planning ahead, thinking ahead. Whatever. Backpack is doing something that I hope we see a lot more crypto companies do. I love this. This gets me right on my I don't know, Caesar feels. Right in the Caesar feels, right? Caesar AI is an AI that owning a token equals owning equity in a crypto project in a company, which is awesome. Backpack. Yeah, mute swap. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, there's tons of ways to do it now. Maybe not tons, but there's enough. It's I think easy to find. Backpack Exchange, this comes from the Mad Lad guys, right? Their parent company, Crypto Exchange. They're getting ready to TGE, right? They're getting ready to drop an equity token, 20% of the company's equity to people who stake this upcoming token for at least a year. I hope that cooks. I hope that does well. I really do, because this to me, while crypto's trying to find its identity, I always looked at crypto as a way to fundraise, but also to share in your success with your early believers. And it's through something like that. It's through exactly something like that. I'm watching. If that's successful, look out. If Caesar's successful, look out. That's what we're heading into. I hope. I think most of us have hoped this for a long time. Now we're starting to see people play with it. We saw Rec Guy do it already. We saw the Plague do it. I feel like there was one other that's kind of done this. We need more of that, and we need it to work. And this is one of the biggest examples we have of it yet. GG's. Love it. Love it. We also saw, man, this is actually pretty wild. This is Terraform and Terra and the Luna token, right? This big crash from a whole cycle ago. Well, crazy thing. We're still going through these bankruptcy. Look, this is actually crazy. Hang on, let me pull up a better breakdown of this. Okay. The USDT crash, like historic, right? Led to the ultimately the FTX collapse. In the bankruptcy proceedings, they are suing Jane Street, which is a big, uh, still, actually, I don't know, still, but let's say I think still is a big player in crypto. Um, but alleging that they actually, I guess, we're talking insider trading here, dumped tens of millions of dollars worth of UST, causing it to depeg. Um, like a very calculated, coordinated attack. And this is just coming out now. Jane Street was behind the 2022 crypto winter. So depeg the token. And Jane Street's coming out saying it's all bullshit. It's fake. It's not real, whatever. It seems like it's real. It seems like it's real. And it seems like, I don't know. Heads will roll. I have no idea. But huge development. I don't know. On my mind. Can't wait to see that. That is a wild looking chart. It's like so many coins here. But the fuckery here in crypto is incredible. Dude, it's incredible. Anyway, we'll keep updated with that. I'm really curious how that plays out. Really curious. Mert had an awesome post this morning. I love this a lot. He's saying what is so obvious, and it has been for a while. And I just like when a guy like him says it, more people like kind of catch on. Like people are playing catch up a lot to a guy like Mert, especially. Mert, I love. Mert feels like he lives in that flow state, right? You can tell when somebody is in flow state. You can tell he lives there. He's so like he's a great shit poster, but super productive guy, like awesome. Anyway, when he says anything, I'm listening because he sees it all so clearly. That Citrini post, that was the 2028, not prediction, but like, use that viral article from a couple days ago. Cosmos, good morning. That viral post though, it's a good warning, but it also is like it was just interesting. He thinks that Citrini post is causing part of what we're seeing in the markets today, and I think he's right. I think it's causing a little bit. It's the Citrini post, but it's more like what's happening with Anthropic, but they kind of are tied together. It's just coloring what everybody thinks about AI, and it's spooking markets right now. But he's saying what's really happening is people are realizing, or we're starting to see, everything is a meme coin. Everything. Bitcoin's a meme coin. ETH is a meme coin. All your favorite tokens, all your bags are meme coins, and some of your meme coins have utility too. Stocks are meme coins. Everything's a meme coin. All of them have speculative value to them, and all of them are their price is affected by just sentiment and news and whatever. They're all meme everything. Everything's a meme coin, and they always have been, and I think most of the world's waking up to that now. Other people realized it a long time ago. GG's to them. I think the world is starting to wake up to that now, and they're not all woken up to it, but they're all meme coins. But I like how he put it, right? I like how he put it. What are they up to right now, Moonship? Gold and silver. What are they at? What price? I don't know prices. I'm kind of curious. But he's clarifying here. The internet connected information. It did. AI is going to turbocharge info and add fuckery there too, and also some truth, a lot of truth. It's funny. AI is the problem. AI is also the solution. So is blockchain. Finance has only recently entered the internet age with crypto, Robinhood, and AI. In a connected system, the thing that spreads the fastest dominates, like a meme coin, just like a meme coin. The mimetic narrative spread the fastest. Example is AI doomsday or AI doomerism. It is a meme. It is. We don't know that it plays out that way. There's a great case you can make for all the doom posts you see about AI doesn't play out that way. There's a great case you can make that for that. I lean more towards it doesn't play out that way. I lean towards what I say here a lot. AI is going to make your work day shorter and more productive. Back to 9 to 5, back to weekends off. That's what I think AI is going to do for us. And then long run, right? 25 years off. Maybe sooner than that, but let's say 25 years off is when it's all automated. Right? I mean, I think that's coming too, but like that's not now. I don't think it's now. In markets, the thing that spreads causes reflexivity, which causes further spread because it validates the meme. Leads to increased short-term volatility. See gold, silver trading in the past year. So here's your options. Monitor the situation and take advantage of it. Become the house. Invest only in long-term ideas. There you go, because there's realness to it too. You got to invest in the things that in the long run can outperform the meme. Trade the meme if you're good at seeing the meme and seeing how attention moves prices, right? Trade that shit. But find yourself the best long-term plays and park in them and ride the waves of the memes and the attention coming and going and stay in the things that'll be there in 10 years. Set the narrative yourself. I like Mert. He's awesome. Yeah, Mert's great. Anyway, love it. Okay, Zach XBT, this is coming tomorrow. No, hang on. Tomorrow? When is this post? This is from this morning. In 2 days. So coming on Thursday. Dude, I cannot wait. Hang on, let me see what Cheka said. Some of these meme coins represent a business model that generates profit. Yes, sir. Yep. So yeah. So some of the memes have actual utility and are legit. So the backpack token is going to be equity. And some of the coins like Swarm is how people pay for cognition. Some of these have utility. And then it's all about, okay, that's great. Is it enough to actually sustain the valuation that meme coin has? And some of them, yes. And some of them will in a big way. And some of these coins are going to be just massive cooks, are going to do so well because someone's going to have a coin that has so much utility and so much demand that it's going to cook. So spot on. That's probably 1% of the coins out there right now. It's probably not even 1%. It's probably not even 1%. It's probably 0.1% of coins. And then that'll change. Down the road, it'll be most coins, I think. Most coins, most new coins. I don't know. When we've got the crypto casino, maybe not, but the percentage will go way up. We'll have a bigger 5% of coins will be actual great coins with great utility and strong demand and right good quality stuff. 5% as opposed to 0.1% now, you know? But what's that magic number? No idea. Like no clue. No clue. But okay, Zach XBT report comes in 2 days. I can't wait. Dude, I'm already off on time. Come on. I got to figure out this show. I got to figure this out, right? Because I want to get to the work I did yesterday. I have to figure out how to do this stream. Actually, I think the stream is going to have to change times. Because if I do it in the morning from like in 45 minutes, my meetings start. I either need to get out of those meetings and stream for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning uninterrupted, or this stream's got to be in the afternoon. If I want 3 or 4 hours of just stream, I got to figure that out. But 2 days off. Meteora is what people are putting their money on as far as who's the article targeting. Who did Zach target? Who's he going to just reveal for insider trading? Meteora is the leader, and I think Meteora makes the most sense. It does. I mean, this is who was behind Libra. And I think there was some like crossover with the Trump and Melania coin. The Melania one for sure. The Trump coin, I'm assuming so. But Meteora is probably the player in all of those things. Yeah, that's a good shout, dude. It's not going to be Binance. In fact, Binance is probably free money here. Zach does work for Binance. That's probably free money. Now, I won't take it, right? 97 cents to make 3 cents. Not taking that. But Meteora makes a ton of sense. I would actually go, if you want to gamble, I would kind of do World Liberty Financial. Also, Jupiter is so closely connected to Meteora. And I'm not deep in Solana, so if anybody wants to fact check me on that and explain the separation there, please, like, have at it. But I think Jupiter is like a kind of interesting bet. If Meteora goes down, there's some crossover with Jupiter. But it actually matters the wording of the market here. If the expose is on Meteora and Jupiter's like what is it? Like a side effect or whatever, then maybe it doesn't trigger that market to resolve yes. But Pump Fund, it could be too. There's been a lot of accusations about Pump Fund for the past year that Pump Fund has got crazy insider trading issues. I don't think that's a bad bet. So Meteora, Pump Fund, Jupiter, World Liberty Finance, I think are Coinbase I thought would be super interesting too. There we go. Thank you. I thought Moonship would chime in. Okay. Ben Chow from Meteora was launching the LP pools for Hayden. Yep. That whitelisted wallets that could only buy the first couple minutes. Jupiter, Meow, owner is the co-founder of Meteor. There it is. And we had secret recordings of these guys too. And it's specifically of Ben. So I think Jupiter's going to get exposed here too, but it's just the wording of the market matters. If the main report is about Meteora, I don't know if that would count as Jupiter, but I do think there's going to be some Jupiter characters in that report. So that might be the most interesting bet here, period. And then I was also thinking Coinbase would be, look, if it's a Coinbase thing, and I don't think it is, but if it were a Coinbase thing, and think of this, the insider trading there could be like, look, how many tokens absolutely sent with a tweet that said X coin is on the Coinbase roadmap, the listing roadmap, right? How many coins went parabolic from that? I kind of would assume there's been some insider trading there. That could be very close to a black swan event if that was like systemic at Coinbase, right? If that was going on at Coinbase and it was like in a big way, that would be black swan event, kind of. It would. And it depends how widespread it was, right? But I don't think Coinbase is a terrible bet either, but I don't think that's going to be it. I think Meteora makes the most sense. I think Jupiter as a Jupiter, I think Jupiter's an interesting play here. But one of those two, and I'll tell you what, if I'm really digging deep to figure out, like, if I want to be super degen and make a bet here, I think that would be Pump Fund because I think that's the most obvious one. But I also don't know how you have insider info when anybody can launch a coin. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's something there, but Pump Fund has had rumors of this for a long time. Yeah, that's actually not a bad shout. Short on the Jupe token, or you mean on this? But it could be Pump Fund. There's been accusations for a long time. So we'll see. 2 days off. We'll cover it. We'll certainly cover it when it happens, but huge. And then last thing on my mind this morning is a big update for V1 Punks. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to see V1 Punks just on my timeline for anything. We're going to spend the rest of the show talking about how historic and important V1 Punks are. And I'm excited. No, I'm not going to do that to you. But, you know, I love V1 Punks. OpenSea is now listing, I believe, the V1 Punks listed on the V1 Punk marketplace. Right? Because they're separate listings. The V1 Punks on the V1 Punk marketplace are not wrapped. Right? It's the only place you can trade the unwrapped punks where like the vulnerability doesn't trigger. And then on OpenSea, actually, this feels backwards to me. On OpenSea, you can trade the wrapped versions. What is he saying? Listing support is now live for Frank's V1 wrapped marketplace. No, that's correct. So so the support there is for the wrapped marketplace contract, but that contract is so you can trade unwrapped. I think this is right. Unwrapped V1 punks. I think that's what that means. Either way, long story short, it's like all the listed V1 punks in one place now. You got the ones from the punk marketplace, the ones from OpenSea. Now they're all together in one spot. Pretty cool. I love V1 punks. What did Cosmos tag me in? Yeah, okay. Yep. There you go. Yeah, so it won't be about Binance. Almost definitely won't be about Binance, so we'll see. All right. Let me show you how I've been using mines, and I want you to also peek at this website, amind.ai. They built this awesome front end that shows you all the mines that are being created. I thought just the Animoca mines. It might also be our mines, like our ethons. We call them ethons. We'll start pushing like, you know, the what makes them different and what are our mines versus Animoca mines. Behind the scenes back end, they're the same. They do live in different like species. I think we could call it like that, or civilizations. They've got the same capabilities. You can kind of flavor them different ways. But here's a page that shows you all the mines that are being created and live. What's interesting is some of my mines have popped up here. So it can't just be all the Animoca mines. It could be all of them. But when I start scrolling, this is going to give you a pretty good idea, guys, of how many mines are being created and what they're being created to do. Right? It gives you a little description. It gives you the name. Here's just yesterday. So we haven't shared metrics yet. I can just tell you there's a lot of people that are launching a lot of mines. We're scrolling. This is just yesterday. And for you guys who are using them, they're fun. They are helpful. I'm starting to get more out of mine, and I'm scratching. I know I'm scratching the surface. I know most people are scratching the surface. It's really cool, man. Um, for me, as like putting on my DGen hat, just knowing that all these mines and they're awesome and people can use them for free to start. And I really think people should launch one for prompting just to help them prompt. Just so you can get a feel for if it can make your AI game better, right? But when people hit that wall after the free period's up and they go pay, behind the scenes, it is purchasing the Swarm token. And again, DGen hat on, I think that is so spicy. I think it's a great utility for a coin, paying the cognition in a token. So check that out. It's a great site. We'll have for amind.ai. So we got animocaminds.ai. You can launch a mine there, again, free to use. And it's about 3 days. It's like 50 or so cognitions. So it depends on how much you use it. But launch one on animocaminds.ai, or you can go to amind.ai, and this will launch you the Ethon version. So maybe this will help you, MJ, because when I start showing how I'm using mine. Yeah, and by the way, I saw your thank you, first of all. I saw your DM, and that was fucking awesome. And I could already see with how much you're having it do, I think that is probably 10 different mines, which doesn't, like, it's not, that gets expensive, right? But just looking at it, I'm like, that's probably 10 it's probably like at least, it's multiple mines. That's a lot for one mine, but if it's doing it, fucking awesome. And I think it can do that. But I'll show you how I'm using mine and how I broke it, how dialed in I made mine. I made it so granular and it's working so well that way that there was a big unlock for me. Love that. Yeah, see, now the mines are great at that. They're great at telling you what they're what you should do. You're using it exactly how somebody should. Yeah. Yeah, and they will tell you when they think you should break off a task, and they'll tell you why. And I'm trusting mine because so far he's been right. All right, quickly, special like on the show. We're on Abstract on X, on my account on X today. Not for any great reason. I just thought me having a stream that's titled "I'm trying to get fired." me having a stream about me getting fired on the official account seemed weird, but maybe it belongs there. I don't know. But I am streaming on YouTube. It's Crypto Slam over here, and that's awesome. DK, he thinks he's Batman. Do you know where he got that from? Like, if you didn't ask him to be Batman and he's trying, they're weird, dude. I think I mentioned this. I tried to get my mind to be a dog and only communicate via barking, and he won't do it. And it's the first I've heard of one playing like a persona that they didn't, like, they weren't told to do. Fuck, man, we got too much. Okay, I will speed through this. I'm not spending any time. But again, the market's looking a kind of way, and a lot of it has to do with AI. It does. Yes, it's the tariff stuff. Yes, it's the Iran stuff. Yes, it's all of that. It's also the threat of AI. So you have OpenAI with this new EVM benchmark that'll help you scan smart contracts, look for vulnerabilities. Awesome. You've got Claude Code, which is now like checking its code, right? Awesome. Looks for vulnerabilities. Well, there's a side effect to that, which is like companies that are there as security tools, that build security tools. How many times do you see here in crypto, somebody launches a great product and at some point the next day a copycat, or maybe it's a year later, at some point though, people figure out how to like reverse engineer, or tech catches up, tech gets good, and it's so easy to create that yourself. This is just the start of what is about to happen here. It's just the start. Do I think that like Claude Code can do as good of a job as what like CrowdStrike products can do? I don't know. I kind of actually think so. I was going to say no at first, and I thought about it real quick. I'm like, I think it could. If you take all the years and years and years of like just security incidents and histories and the way that they're like, it's always this cat and mouse game. And every single time that happens, it's training for an AI. I think, yeah, I think I think Claude Code can maybe do it as well as anything out there right now. Maybe. And if not right now, then within months, within a year, yes. It's so disruptive to the security industry. So, man, CrowdStrike, 20 billion of its market cap, poof, on that announcement. I don't know where it closed, but on that announcement. Similar with IBM. Similar thing. Anthropic down 10% yesterday, finished lower than that. Its worst day since October 2000. AI is going to do this in every industry. It is. It is. It's doing it to security. It's going to do it to companies who build, have customer service solutions. It's going to do it to everything. I think every week, and I don't know the intervals, I don't know, every week, every month, every whatever, but we're going to keep seeing stories of AI can now do this. These old, these old companies now obsolete. It's going to get really weird out there. This is not like a one-off thing. It's going to get really, really weird out there, which we've been expecting. I've been expecting it. I think you guys too. We've all been expecting this. We can't predict what the weird looks like. This is what it looks like, and it's just the start. It's going to get very, very weird out there. I can't wait. Can't wait. Now, the other thing happening, we're almost done, but Anthropic saying there's been an attack from DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, Minimax. This is, hang on, that looks badass. Claude Code made a new browser wallet extension kind of by mistake. Oh, dude, it's wild. These big AI companies are going to be so disruptive. It's scary. It's also going to be hard for the smaller guys to compete and play catch up. Anything you make that's cool, innovative, whatever, they'll spit out a copycat of it in an instant. It's going to get weird. Anyway, they're alleging that they're under attack. There's people trying to steal Claude Code and its training and its data. So 24,000 fake accounts have made over 16 million interactions extracting information from Claude. And they're scared about that. And I don't think there's any stopping it either. In fact, I don't think there's any stopping it. It is spinning up this really funny conversation, though, about IP and who owns that information. Because China doesn't respect the IP laws, right? They don't have them like we do, and they don't respect ours, so they're just going to take. But also, I think it's fair to point out that Anthropic used everybody else's information data to train their model. So an example here, they were able to basically rewrite all of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, almost 96% of it. It was trained on that. It was trained on millions of books and all kinds of IP out there. It wasn't theirs, but it takes that data, takes that IP, it learns from it, and it absolutely affects and colors it out, its output, and it has it. It was trained on it. So it is funny, again, people are pointing out exactly this, that they have a problem with people trying to train their models off of what Claude can do, yet Anthropic did exactly that. It's weird. All I know is our laws are out of date. They are. It's like we're going through in the crypto industry right now. Our banking laws are out of date, and the tech is moving faster than it now. Our laws can't keep up. The same thing's happening with IP. Everything in the digital space is now obsolete because everything works faster now. It's cool and scary though, Moonship. And I wouldn't trust it, but then again, if Claude is now reviewing its code and it's passed some kind of really, really robust check, then GG's. Today, let me make sure this is today. I think this is today. Or is this a yesterday post? Yeah, it's today. Anthropic is hosting a major enterprise keynote today in New York. We're going to get some new product announcements. The last 3 product drops raised billions from software stocks. Yep. Let's see what happens today. I think that's real. So let's see what happens today. We may get new products announced from Anthropic. And we'll see. It's going to get very weird. It's going to get very, very weird. This is kind of ties in. I think we're ready to move on. Yeah, let's start talking. I legit am going to try to get fired. I am. I legit look, that newsletter takes me, I'm trying to think, like, the newsletter I do every week can take, I think at minimum, like 6 hours at minimum. But I'll tell you this, it's usually like double that. I would say pretty easily it's like a 10, 15 would be high, but it's taken 15 before, but I would say 10, let's just say 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week. So if you're doing a 40-hour work week, it's a quarter of the week goes into writing this newsletter. It's crazy. Um, Goal number 1 is having AI replace it. Like I've been talking about, I suck at prompting. I really do suck at it. The way to get better is to admit it first and then work on getting better. Dude, I spent 2 hours already watching videos where, I mean, what's the first thing you do with anything? You just throw yourself into it, and you're going to throw yourself at the wrong stuff first, and eventually you're going to find the thing that's like, oh yeah, okay, now I get how I start. So I've started, but I don't even know if I'm starting at the right point. I'm watching YouTube and I'm listening to how to prompt for beginners, and I'm finding somebody like the Prompt Father, right? Which that's not him on the screen. I found him on X, but heard he's great, so I'm going to follow him, right? But I'm watching these videos to start just figuring out, where do I start. Finding these videos isn't the start, but it's how I'm going to find where the real start is. But what I've learned from all these videos so far is I do suck at prompting, and most people don't realize how much they suck at prompting. So it is a big first step to realize you suck at it. And again, what I've experienced so far in just that day of using AI to prompt me, it's called reverse prompting. Already I can tell that that's the right direction, that what I'm doing before is wrong. There's a better way to do it. And if you get good at it, I think that unlocks all this shit. People are saying that AI is doing this and this and this. I think it's mostly LARP, but the stuff that isn't LARP, I get that they're doing a different thing. They're not just throwing random like requests at it. No, they have a very, very well thought out, structured prompt that is like, it's not just like a one pass thought out structured prompt. It is something they've worked on, iterated, tried over and over and over, and then they've ended up hitting on this perfect prompt to start what they're trying to build. This is the head of Claude Code, whoever, I don't know who that is specifically, but this is like their workflow or their process. And I'll drop it in the chat because it's worth reviewing, because it's like, look at something like this and think, is this how I'm prompting? Like, am I starting like this? Yeah, Moonship, yeah. I was being way too vague. I'm like, write me a newsletter that covers this topic, this topic, this topic, format it like this. And my formatting instructions weren't specific enough. Nothing I was giving it was specific enough. Nothing. And it's like, you need to tell it exactly what to do, exactly what not to do, how to check itself, what way, in what order to word things to get the most out of it. You have to tell it why it's doing that. You have to tell it who it's acting as, like what voice or what role it's playing. You have to tell it who its audience is. You have to give it examples so it knows what to check against or what it's like striving to do, what it's trying to meet. It's a lot. And that's not even all of it, but that's like the core of what you have to do it. And if you're not doing it that and putting that much thought into your prompts, you're probably getting not great results. Post I made yesterday, again, I'm going to start showing, but again, my mind is helping me a lot. I love this guy that replied, by the way. He's awesome. The Neuromancer, smart fucking guy, smart guy. And he saw my screenshots and he called it garbage. And he's right. I saw that. And not for a second was I like, fuck that guy, man. Like, yeah, not for a second. I'm like, no, it is garbage. I know what I'm doing right now is garbage. A smart guy like that sees it and instantly it's garbage. And he's even telling me the prompts I'm getting back are garbage. The results I'm getting back are garbage. He's right. Better than I had a day ago and for the past 2 months. Way better, but still garbage. That's why I know if I keep at this and keep looking to get good at prompting, I'm actually excited. It's not even the word. I'm very, very sure that all the stuff I've done that's made me think AI is not capable of a lot of the stuff people say. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about that. I think it's capable. I think I'm not the one who's capable yet. And I think I can get there. I do. I think I can get there. So let me show you what I did with a mind. And it wasn't one mind. It was ultimately like 5 minds yesterday. So I'm going to show you this. And it's not even great. I'll tell you this. But it's the process. It's the start. It's the start of having AI replace my job ultimately, but to start having AI replace one thing I do, my newsletter. And I think that, look, if it can't do that, I believe it can. I really believe it. If it can't do that, then then I'm cooked or we're all cooked. I believe it can do that. I really, really, really believe it can do that. I wouldn't waste my time if I didn't think it could. And if it can do that, I think that is going to be such a big win. I can't wait. Okay, hang on. I may be able to skip the morning meeting. Okay, let me okay. All right, let me share my screen. Let's just dive in. I'll say again, I'm really sure that AI is going to be able to do this. Almost learning. Yeah, okay, so MJ, I love that point. Hang on. I love that point because I also was wrong about something else this week where I'll be honest, I got kind of frustrated this week and I was like I was in a meeting, okay? In a meeting with our head of data and some of the people from Animoca. And when our head of data was explaining, Animoca had a specific request, and our head of data said to him, "Well, I could do that for you, or you could have your mind do this." And this that he said, I couldn't say back to you. I couldn't explain it because it's like dev talk. It's technical. But the guy from Animoca sat back and he goes, "I didn't know they could do that, and that's brilliant." And then I could tell like he was sitting back there and he's like, "I didn't know they could. I didn't know." And he's like, "Wow." He was so impressed. And then I was like, again, this is where I got frustrated. I'm like, I don't speak dev, and so I don't know how to get things out of AI, and I don't think I can. So I thought incorrectly that you have to be a developer to really use AI. I thought that, and I was a little frustrated. I'm like, okay, devs get it. Devs have a cheat code. They have a fast track to like using AI, like, and be productive with it. But I realized I'm wrong. Okay, so just from doing digging about how to get better at prompting, I realized you don't have to. It's all about logic and being, I mean, concise is the wrong word, thorough. Thorough, detailed with your thought process, what Moonship was saying before. Not being vague. It's about like organizing your thoughts and explaining it to the LLM or your agent. In fact, I was reading that marketers and people who work in like legal um, are excellent at prompting. People who, again, are very careful with their messaging, they know how to get a lot out of their words, right? Those people are the best prompters. And again, an engineer can be that too, right? A dev can be that too, but you don't have to know the dev side of it to get the most out. It helps with other things, right? Things you connect your agent to and your LLM to. But it also is the other side too. A great dev, I'm realizing, doesn't make him a great prompter. In fact, if he doesn't have like the writing skills that, again, the marketer or legal person or whatever, if he doesn't have that, he's not going to be able to get the same out of an LLM or an agent too. So I was wrong about that you have to be a dev. You don't. You have to be great with your words though. And a lot of people are not, and a lot of people never will be unless they try. Everybody's capable of it. Okay, so let me show my newsletter. This will be a little tricky because I have them on two different accounts. So let's see. Have to babysit it, so you kind of got to know what you're doing in the first place. Yep. Here's what it is. It's so many things, right? Okay, AI is not a thing that you casually throw something at it and then it completes it. It's work. It's work. Like everybody's got the wrong impression of AI. Like where I saw, remember, okay, we talked about this a few weeks back. Somebody saw a thumbnail that's generated by AI and they're like, fuck this. No effort AI. You gave a okay, same with movies, generated movies. I saw Matt Walsh, that right-wing, podcast guy or whatever, saw a movie. He thinks he says it'll never be good because somebody just said, make a movie about this, like one sentence. Didn't understand that it's like, no, 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 you're a director and you're telling it what you want it to do. And there's an art to it. And it's not one prompt. It's probably 1,000 prompts and tens of thousands of outputs. Like it's, again, people don't know what goes into getting great stuff out of AI. It's they hate it because they don't understand it, right? JYs, they hate it because they don't understand it. And here I am, somebody who does get it, but I don't understand it the way I need to. I'm getting there, but I'm understanding how much work actually goes into it. I think there's no shortcut to it. There's no cheat code. AI isn't going to make it easier. AI is not in like a free pass or an automatic unlock. You have to learn how to use it. And I think the learning curve to use it is the same kind of learning curve as any other new tool. Same kind of learning curve that you had with learning crypto, understanding blockchain, under just all the it's the same learning curve, just new product. What you can do with it's crazy. So how do I get this on the screen so I can show you the newsletter? Oh, I know. Hang on, I'll share it with myself. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna share it with my crypto slam email. I'm gonna show you the newsletter. It's shitty, by the way. Super shitty. But it is what it is. Anyone with a link? Okay. All right. So I've already gotten a head start, right? I started this yesterday. I wish I streamed it, didn't. But started yesterday. Okay. Actually, let me go one back. I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Just so you can see like the before and then the whole process. And then the goal is to have AI build the whole thing out. To start formatting, I'm not having it research. I'm not having it source the articles, like none of that. To start, format it. Let me give you the articles. If it can like summarize them and write like what the article's about, that's a huge win. And that is what I'm trying to have it do. Write the newsletter, format it, don't source the articles. Okay. Here's last week's. I do a quick opening about just like our ecosystem. So Crypto Slam, Ethos Swarm, Animoca Mines. I write shit. Did I delete it out already? Noteworthy happenings. I write about 2 or 3 of the big, maybe sometimes up to 5 on a busy week. The biggest topics out there, 1 or 2 sentence summary, 5 to 7 bullet points about it. That simple. So last week was kind of a light week, but OpenClaw, you know, to OpenAI, Virtual's AGDP. That was it for main topics. In AI, I just do bullet points, like 1 sentence bullet point on the top stories in AI, 1 word hyperlink to the source article. Same with NFTs. 1 sentence bullet point, complete sentence, right? At least 1 hyperlink to important detail, data. So the same with AI. I cover a little more with the NFT market, which I'm probably going to move more away from. In fact, funny enough, I'm building this, and I think the whole format I'm going to change and make it more an AI focused newsletter. But what's that noise? I get spooked when I hear a noise that my computer's going to die. I don't know. NFT market, value of the market. I just covered this. AI is not going to do that for me. I'll do it, but I do think actually, now that I think about it, AI can do this. I can point it to the website, show it what I'm measuring, and just have it calculate. It can absolutely do this for me. We might do that live. I show top 7 gainers, top 7 losers in crypto. And then I do headlines. So anything that wasn't part of the top, sections, but I thought was important. I don't write it as a complete sentence. I just do a headline. So like 1 sentence, make it like catchy, headliney, and hyperlink the first few words, whatever makes sense there. So that's the newsletter. So before I was taking this guy right here, and I'm going to show you this too. This is a good best practice tip, whatever. Make in Gmail, if you're using Gmail, I'm sure most people are, make filters. Because, like I've got 100 mines. Like my email is full. It was way worse because my most active ones are now filtered, but like you can really get overwhelmed in your inbox. Make filters. Make the filter any emails from this address. So whatever at amind.ai. So from the specific address, make a brand new filter for it and make sure you check the box that says archive it. Because if you don't archive it, it'll show in your inbox and over in the label. And a lot of you guys already know this already, but if you don't check that box, it's going to still clutter up your inbox. If you pick archive it, it doesn't show it in your inbox. It only shows it in the label. I want to, dude. Actually, Claude Code is installed on this PC. I have not given it any access. But test the competition. I think Claude Code will do everything that this can do. I think it should be able to do everything. Like to a degree, I think Amind is a light version of Claude Code. Because like really, like it can do, I think, a lot of what Claude can do. In like OpenClaw specifically, right? I think it can do a lot of that, but because you're not giving it access to things, it's got to be connected to APIs and it's got to do stuff out there. It's cloud, it's a cloud service. But I think I can do a lot with Claude Code and OpenClaw. But my dad's my target for something like this. Of course, he's not doing a newsletter, but my target is like business professional who's not techie. You've seen all these posts out there of people who are trying OpenClaw and they're like, I can't install this. This is fucking crazy. It's a lot of that. Like there's a ton of that. Like a ton of that. This is for like people who don't want to do that. By the way, am I on X? Am I streaming? You know what? Okay, I'm streaming. It doesn't post it though. That's cool. That's cool. That's good to know. That's good to know. Good job, X. Okay, so I've made my filters. So before I had this guy, Jason Todd. I think that was my first mind. I think that's my very first mind. And is that the first? That's the first thing I asked him. Okay. I ended up making Jason Todd my like everything mind. Like it was like my just like general assistant. First thing I thought of doing with him was exactly the newsletter. So I ended up having, and I don't know if I have that initial email, but I trained him on the format of my newsletter. I trained him on sourcing the articles, all of it. Fair to say he didn't do a great job ever. He did an okay job. At points, he did a good job. The first time I had him spit out my noteworthy happenings section, he did pretty good. He actually did it well the first time. I'm like, and I told the team, I'm like, holy fuck, dude, if this does it, I've tried this, everything I've done here, I've tried with Grok and I've tried with ChatGPT and I tried with Claude. Can't do it. I don't know what it is, but it can't do it. It gives me like sentences that don't make sense. Maybe now, because it's been a few months, maybe now it can, but sentences that don't make sense, fucks up formatting, some combination of all of it. It's never been able to do it. And I've tried. I put in a lot of time, especially with ChatGPT. Put in a lot of time, never could do it. Again, new models like 5.3 maybe can do it. We 5.2 or 5.3, whatever. I never could do it. This was the first time I ever instructed it like I did with the other models, and it actually gave me back exactly what I wanted, which was awesome. Thank you, Luna. Appreciate that, man. First time. So crazy excited for that. After that first time, he never did it again. I could never get it back. It was all, and this is me prompting it wrong, but he would always give me back a version of it that was either formatted wrong or the writing sounded bad or something wasn't hyperlinked. Every single return I got from him, every single thing, I'm like, yeah, you did it wrong. You didn't include this. So I was instructing him back or replying to him the wrong way too. I wasn't giving him enough information. I wasn't giving him like an updated prompt of in the future and write this to like your board or your core memory or whatever. But in the future, here's the new prompt. And it's the same as the old prompt tweaked with the new information. I never did that. Never did troubleshooting for the prompt. Yeah, they do. Moonship, I can't wait to have like one of our devs on here to explain the memory of these because that's something that makes them pretty awesome is their memory's really good. Really good. You do have to get at some point break it off into a new email thread because if the thread goes forever, they start getting silly like all AI, but their memory here and how they configured it's really good. So anyway, with him, the different formats, the different sections formatted differently was enough to confuse him, I think. Him sourcing the articles. So I've explained how I did that too, right? Follow these accounts. Find their most engaged with tweets over this amount of time. find the top replies, like all that stuff, right? It did it, but it could never do it consistently. Where like it did it that time, and the next week I came back and I said, "Hey, remember how we sourced articles last time? Do the same thing again for the past week." And it would come back with X accounts that I didn't have it follow. It came back with that because it was using some of its like search functionality. Came back with stuff that I didn't ask it to follow. Came back with man, all kinds of stuff. It didn't work. So brings us to yesterday, which is let me break this down by section because at times it's done it all perfectly. But when I start having it do it all of it, it can't do it. So by section, we've got the noteworthy happenings with its own mind. We've got the headlines with its own mind. I've got peep the charts with its own mind. I've got editors, scouts, sourcing the information. I've not given this any prompt yet. I'm not even touching that yet. And then the translator who's translating it all for me, who's writing the prompts for me. Having conversations with my mind about long-term memory and short-term memory. And I can make sure it remembers my request. It does it. Again, I couldn't do it justice to how it works behind the scenes. It's really cool. But it works. It works better than stuff I've used, other things I've used. It just does. And there's by design too. I don't know that it's the solution. I think everybody's building out their own solutions for memory, but whatever our boys did, they cooked. Okay, so I'm going to show how I talk to the translator to then have him write my prompt. For the noteworthy happenings section, right? So I've got the happenings mind. I had him spit out for me what it is that he does, right? He gave this to me. Actually, this might even be a step further down where I think the translator mind gave me a version first, and then we fine-tuned it, but it started very close to this, right? So the 1 to 2 sentence summary, 5 to 7 1-sentence bullets. This is even, actually, I can tell this is already a step down because I wouldn't have written exactly. I wouldn't have had that. One relevant word in each bullet, hyperlink to source, no bolding. By the way, it capitalizes the no because the case matters. If you guys didn't know that, it does. Case matters. If you bold something, it matters. Very much like a human when you talk to these, it's case sensitive. So if you put no in all caps, it's gonna highlight that. It's gonna put some importance on that, which is cool. Sound like natural language. Always fact check. Always make sure each bullet is correct. Okay, so there's my prompt that already was like a step beyond what I initially said, right? And this is what it gave me back. Again, this was what that other guy who's watched the show. He's a great guy. But what he said, garbage in, garbage out. I still think this isn't good. I think this is like bare minimum. It better than I've used, better than I've gotten. But this isn't good enough. This is not enough. The prompt should be like 2 pages long. Like honestly, it should be a page long. Every single part should be like, yeah, I should have a page long prompt for this. But anyway, it buffed it. It still is better. I would love that, man. I will end up doing it. I will end up doing that. Because I think this is I think this is a light use case for minds. But I'm just trying, like, the first thing I got to do so I can understand minds and like test their capabilities, I have to use it. I got to push and see what it can do and how to do it. And then I'll start applying that to other things and see where else it can excel. Exactly 5 to 7 distinct facts, data points, sentiment shifts from source material. Important that it said from source material too, because mine was going out and looking for other stuff, and then it was like hallucinating. I liked that it pointed out source material. Structural framing, draft a 1 to 2 sentence, natural summary, good. The bullet points, it elaborated on this a good amount, right? Convert each identified fact into exactly 1 sentence. Strip the bolding and the handles. Select 1 word per bullet to anchor the hyperlink. And I like that too. It doesn't sound like it's like, I might be reading this the wrong way too. It's not just one random word. It's the word that like anchors the link to like the topic or the fact or whatever, right? I was worried he was always going to take 1 word, which it was doing. It was always taking the first word or the last word and hyperlinking that. I think the way he worded it makes it so it's more randomized or like a more appropriate bullet hyperlink. Ensure the tone remains natural and professional. Avoid jargon unless specified. I actually want to undo that because I kind of want jargon. I kind of want like, I want it to sound a little degen. And then verification. Perform a recursive check. Bullet count 5 to 7. bolding detected, X handles detected, right? It's just double checking itself. And then fact check, super important because it does hallucinate, right? It does still. So fact check. Explicitly cross-reference each bullet point against the source to confirm accuracy. Dude, I ended up taking this further yesterday. See if I can find it. Badass. I took it further where I said, verify everything and then show me what you verified it against. And let me see if I can find that because what it spit back at one point might be hard to find now. God, I hope I can find it. It was awesome that it told me each point and it told me if it verified it and how many things it was able to verify it against. And it told me other things if it couldn't verify it. Didn't mean it was bad because maybe the post on X was like it was from an authority and that was good enough, right? But it was awesome when it told me what it verified and against how many things it checked. I'm like, dude, I didn't even ask for the result like that, I don't think, but it gave it to me. And I think it's here. What's up, Gravity? Good morning, man. Was it here? Here, let me try verified. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. Verification log. And actually, I think it went further than this in another. So I'll see if I can find that. Cross-reference the thread about the official base engineering updates. Okay. There was another verification it did that was like way deeper and it was really cool. But now it's giving me this verification log, which is, yeah, it's badass. I didn't ask it to tell me that. I just said verified on your own, but now it's giving me that, which super helpful. So that's just the happenings editor. I'm going to show you what outputs it gave me. But to go to the next one, the headlines. For headlines, right? Again, one sentence doesn't have to be complete sentence, just has to read like a headline. So I said, write me the prompt to have it do this. Here's the links to the stories. I'm going to give it links to the stories. It's a more traditional headline. Hyperlink the first few words, whatever makes sense. That's the prompt I would have given it before. I literally would have given it that prompt before I did. And then I get like kind of inconsistent results. So I gave him that and I said, you make the prompt. Here's examples of what I do. And it gave me back this. Okay. So I hope I got the right one here. Identify the single most significant development from the provided link, prioritize proper nouns and hard outcomes, draft a one sentence traditional headline, use active voice and present tense. Hyperlink the first 3 to 5 words of the headline to the source article. This ensures the primary entity or action serves as the clean entry point. No bolding, no italics, no em dashes. Structure must rely on word choice and commas for clarity. Perform a final cross-reference against the source. So again, verification. And then it gave the examples. Do I think that's a perfect prompt or even a good prompt? I don't think so. But is that already showing me that I need to be way more like thoughtful with what I'm giving it and way more? I need more and more and more. It's definitely showing me that. Again, I still think this is not a good prompt, but it's 5 times better than what I gave it. So win there. For the charts. So for the peep the charts section, which again, it's similar to all the others, but it's just the one complete sentence, so not headline style. And it's not like the noteworthy happenings where it's summary and then multiple things. It's just one sentence on each topic. So fuck, I don't know why I don't have it. My prompt, my version of it, which would be just like I described it. One sentence on the topic, one word, at least one word hyperlink to the, to the data point, the fact or whatever. This is what it gave me. And again, I gave it examples, right? But from the provided link, identify the single most important development, prioritize hard numbers, proper nouns, specific dates. I'm going to edit that too because it can be multiple points in the same sentence. It doesn't have to be one fact. Compress the entire event into one sentence, exactly one sentence. Same thing with em dashes. Select one word or short phrase, hyperlink it. You got to cross-reference, and then it gives it the output format, gives it the example. Again, just like before, better than I was giving it. I think that is still, I think the prompt needs to be 4 times longer. Like really, like 4 times longer. This is where when I'm doing my research and how to prompt, I'm seeing that people say save your prompts. When you figure out the right format for a prompt, save it. Because like the same format I had for my last thing, I could copy paste here and kind of like my mind is already doing that. These are very similar prompts across the board, but if I think my prompt should be 4 times longer when I dial it in, keep the prompt. I made myself a new Google Doc called Prompt Bible that when I lock in a good prompt that I expect to be pretty long, I keep them and I use it going forward. And maybe I got to tweak them for each thing, but like I need my main template prompt and see what's successful. What do you got here, Hoods? You started an agent in app to hub the Grok, ChatGPT, like all of those in one place. I dig it. Here's where we got. Let me show you where we got yesterday. I'm hoping I don't have to bounce. And I still need to get this all completed today, like put it all together. But let me show you where I got. I gave, let's see where to start. I should have had this formatted better for you. Okay. I wanted to do a topic about the Clarity Act. And so I gave it, and this actually came from Grok. I sourced my info from Grok. So I said, Grok, there's been like a ton of updates on the Clarity Act this week. Give me all the updates and include the source link. So I had it just spit this out. I took that output and I gave that right to the happenings editor for one of the noteworthy happenings. I just said, give it that and take that format, the via your training, output it for me that way. So it did because it has all the source links. It's got some context. I checked this all. It's accurate. It doesn't sound just like me, so I think I need to work on that. But it gave me the 1 to 2 sentence. I want that to sound a little more degen, a little more like me. But momentum for the Clarity Act is building as federal regulators and industry leaders align on a spring timeline for stablecoin legislation. Recent meetings, blah blah blah. Okay, so White House has set a firm date. Ripple CEO, blah blah blah. Right. It actually went back and tweaked this with more info too. Right. So I told it good job. But I also got more updates from the translator, right? So I gave him a couple more updates from him. Tell him to tell him core rules. I wonder if there's a specific prompt to get him to really dial that in, right? But he came back with the latest update here. Verified it all. I don't remember why I asked him for it again, but a couple times I went back and asked for it. Oh, I think there was a timing thing where he gave that to me like at the same time I was giving him the newest prompt. Now he kept going, and I don't know if I like this or hate it, that he kept going and kept like iterating on it like multiple times. And now I got to read all that. I need to tell him, I think, to not iterate, not keep like redoing the section because that last thing I had in mind, it was pretty good. So I don't want him to take any steps back and not realize it. Then he did something he shouldn't have done. And I need to figure out how to get him to not do this. He took the Clarity Act section, and then the previous section, I'll show you that too, but was about base, and then moving away from optimism, combined it all into one section. I never asked him to do that. Never asked him to do that. In fact, that sucks. That gives me more work all of a sudden, right? So don't combine them. They're separate sections. That's not the right prompt for him. So I'm actually going to go show this to the translator. Let's do this live. I'm going to show the translator and say, hey, he did what I asked him to do, and then he on his own combined them together. How do I prompt him to never do that again? Let me find it. Okay. Where did he say he combined them? Because I want to throw that together. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to show this right now to the translator. So I'm going to start a new email to him. And let's see what prompt he gives me back. Was that happenings? Um, I don't think I'm even explaining it right. So even right here is kind of stupid. I should probably be giving this one, this mind, what it should look like versus what he gave me. Should probably be doing that. But let me see. Happenings mind decided on his own to combine two separate topics into one. And I should probably do here's how it should be. Here's what he ended up doing on his own. Okay, let me send it. Let's see what he comes back with. Again, I'm not expecting anything great. I'm expecting this to help me train how I speak to to AI. This is like I'm training myself by doing this. So I'm going to pick up on what he gives me back. I'm going to apply what I'm hearing and learning from other, like from these YouTube channels and other things. And I'll start understanding, well, this is what it gave me. And he probably should have done this, but he probably didn't do that because I didn't ask for it. Right. It's just, I think this is the process. By the way, I think there's a lot of free courses out there to like really shortcut this too. And I want to take those. And like, look, my goal is to like do those courses and share with you what I learn. Let's see what he gives back. Let's see how quickly he gives it back. And let's see what this guy's doing. Um, don't need that right now. Okay. That'll come back in a moment. Let's then let me check where we're at, like at the end of the happenings. I think the last thing was combining them. I told him to not. So he separated them again. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Trying to get my mind to interview you when you have a project that you want to work on. Like the newsletter, I told it once it knows what to do, I should go, it should go figure out info it needs and ask. Yeah, dude. It's again, it's like the reverse prompting kind of thing. It's like let them tell you what they need. Let them ask you for the context. And then eventually by doing that stuff, yeah, no, it's going to be a process of going back and forth and back and forth. And then you're where I'm at now. We're going to figure out, okay, they respond to this. What this way doesn't work, but it got parts of it right. So take the parts it got right and start being able to like build out around that. It's going to work. Okay, so he separated these back out. Let me see if he got it right. So let's see. The digital asset landscape is shifting towards technical autonomy as major networks decouple. I don't like the wording of this, by the way. Coinbase and Base are introducing major infrastructure pivots to scale. I don't like I don't like that. Base adopts a unified technical stack and schedules 6 hard locks per year. Target. This is fine. So here's the thing too. As I'm making this shift to AI doing it, I'm gonna it doesn't need to be perfect. I don't care if the wording sounds like me or not yet. What I'm trying to see is can I get it to output? Well, early in the week, can it get 80% of the way there? It's what AI told me. Can you get 80% of the way there? If it can, great. Now you got a starting place to iterate. If this can get me everything factual and formatted right, and the problem is the language sounds like kind of that's fine. I don't mind that to start. Because if this does this, and next week I can ask it for this stuff. I can just give it the links. It formats it. If that can save me hours, then I spend those hours on training it to speak like me. So this stuff looks right. I'm going to assume it verified. I'm also not going to use that. I'm going to use what it gave me yesterday because I already did check that. But I'm just making sure it's separated. The Clarity Act looks good. White House, March 1st, SEC chair. I like that it added Polymarket. I didn't ask it to add Polymarket. It did that on its own. I like that. I'm also going to be careful with that because there's some of these things I don't want it to add stuff. But I like that it added that. I manually on my own added it to the newsletter. I'll show you I added this part on my own. In fact, like the language sounds different. Polymarket odds are showing people are less sure that the bill will pass, with only 55% thinking the Clarity Act passes in 2026. So I'm going to tweak that still too, but the language is so different from the rest. I did not give that to my mind. It went and picked up on its own the Polymarket part, which is awesome. Not because it's plugged into my, it's not plugged in my Google Docs. It did it because it saw that story out there. So I do like that. Senate action could follow in spring 26 if a deal is reached by the initial deadline. Yeah, I might take this. It did the verifications. I think that's a success. The big test is, can it do it next week? I'm not going to wait till next week, right? What I'm going to end up doing tomorrow is feed it all new links. I'm just going to do some like dummy tests, right? And tomorrow, I'm going to take the stories that I bring for the, I maybe can do it today even. But I'm going to take the stories that I bring for us to talk about during the show, and I'm going to feed it to it and say, hey, make this into a new noteworthy happening section. I'm going to tell it's a test, but I want to see if it can format it. And if it comes back the first time and formats it, then I think I'm going to feel good about next week. Well, let's try it. I like it, Moonship. Let's try it. Okay, I need a story that's got enough meat on it. So let me go back to what we talked about today. Oh, the stock stuff. Let's do the stock stuff. And let me double check something here, because those responses should be real, like pretty much instant, right? So I want that reply from the translator. I would have expected to have that back. I'll say this. There was an issue yesterday. This is part of why I just didn't do it live, because of the delay. Some of these mines yesterday, and it's done this once before for me a couple months ago. What is I? So, well, okay, here's the problem with that Moonship. I don't want it to source the stories yet. I'm not ready for it to scout for me and say, hey, the story is Zyber. Like, give me a breakdown on Zyber, make it a noteworthy. I need to go find like 5 to 10 links about the story, and I say, hey, you go read all these and summarize it. That's the workflow right now. If this can follow the template thing, if it's got the template locked in and it's doing a good job of like reading the stories and like summarizing them, the next step is training it to source the article. So I can do exactly that. Hey, Zyber's a big thing this week. They've got their TGE. Find me the top story, like I do with Grok. Right now I'm having Grok do it. So I'm saying, find me the top post about Zyber and what they're doing this week and what their product is, and then I feed that into this. I'm not ready for this to source it yet because I just haven't trained it yet, but I think that should be a tomorrow exercise. Like, that'd be perfect. Okay, to this real quick. Yesterday, like 3 or 4 of the replies I had from Minds, they didn't show up. And then I replied back to him. I said, are you there? Let me see if I can find one of those. So I replied back asking if it's even there, because sometimes it can be stuck in a cognition, like something that's taken a long time to think through. This is, yeah, here we go. This is like, this is something that we're going to have a dashboard that shows you what it's doing. Like if it's in a cognition, if it's whatever, right? So I sent it some headlines and I wanted it to format and send it back. And then like, what? You know, it was only 6 minutes later, but I expected an instant reply. Let me see if this was the right one. Okay, he sent it back there. So that one was fine. What did he say he was doing? The other examples I have, maybe I won't find them right now, but the other examples where I'm like, are you there? Like, what was taking so long? One of them was like 30 minutes. Well, he replied back, and his reply, I really want to find the example because it's good. It's helpful. Yeah, maybe I don't want to dig too long. I'll just say this. The reply, you know how sometimes there's a reply and you see some text under it, like a reply to a reply? He had a reply that I never received. So like TLDR, he did reply. I didn't receive it. I noticed the timestamp on that reply was actually like 5 or 6 hours in the future. I don't know why it did this, but it took like UTC and it put that as the timestamp, which meant, and I don't get how this works, it meant it thought it sent the email, it logged the email, but it didn't actually send it. But on the reply, it was replying next in line, so it actually took that reply. It's weird, something like that, but it was sending me stuff or not sending me stuff because it was timestamped in the future. But on the reply, I could see that was the last reply, if that makes sense. So it was like 2 p.m., and the reply I was looking at the timestamp showed like 9 p.m. So that was a little issue yesterday, and I'm kind of wondering if he's doing that right now. I hope not. Like, these should not, most of my experience with this is no delay like this. Like if I emailed 9:20, this is 9 minutes ago. These don't take that long. Like for me, usually they're pretty close to instant, maybe a minute. if anything, I think like we've got so many new mines being made, so like we are scaling and scaling fast, but it could be like a symptom of that. E-Rock, you fucked up, brother. You fucked up, brother. Yep. Yep. Dude, absolutely. Grok, I'll say this, when I tried getting Grok to do all of this, and I wonder if we could do it now, but it was like the voice was not close enough, like the voice wasn't good, and the formatting was never right. And then I couldn't copy paste them. There was a couple of things that kept me from being like, okay, I can't do my newsletter in Grok yet. I could do it, but it would take work and then it wouldn't feel like what mine feels like. And then again, the same with ChatGPT. It was always formatting and couldn't source the articles. And it was so then my format was go from Grok to ChatGPT, but again, it would always fuck it up. This is the furthest I've ever gotten with it. But in the meantime, let me throw because I think we do have some stories today. Like I think the Anthropic like stock thing I could throw at it. So I'm going to try that real quick. So let's go to happenings. Okay. Fuck, I think I just opened up After Effects. Okay, might lag my computer for a second here. So I'm going to tell them real specifically, this is not for today's newsletter. Although it could be. It's a pretty good story. Let's see how he does. Maybe it is. Let's see how it is. By the way, because E-Rock's here and I got to talk NFTs, normies are awesome. Normies are going to do really well. Really well. Okay. All right. Let's see how he does with this. Damn. Love it, E-Rock. I'm going the opposite way. I grabbed one more yesterday. Top blasting. Okay. Let's give him. I'm also going to tell him to use some of his skills to find any other like comments, any other stories about this, any other posts, so he can make sure it's like a pretty comprehensive write up. So we'll give him basically everything I had on the screen before. I'm just going to send this all to him. I don't think I have enough, but let's see. So let's do that, and let's say also, and I'm going to tell him 2 specific skills he can use. Also use search X and search web 2. Okay. Okay, let's see. Again, not great, but I hope like the underlying, training gets him to do what we wanted with this. Let's give him one more article. It's all stuff you guys saw on here before. So let's see. Mufasa, I did not have time yesterday. I followed the dude. So I followed him, but I didn't get to dive into like what's his fucking deal, you know? You know? Checka, there's some plays out there. Not today so much, but there's definitely plays out there. I think I'm firmly back in the like let's not spend anything on anything. I think I'm firmly back there. But I do think those normies are pretty great. And then I'm like I'm hoping I mean this market looks like it's getting ready to dump hard, right? But I'm hoping that I'm hoping that it's different. I'm hoping we get big announcement of something crazy and like we're just like, I mean, at this point we're back to 70, 75. I don't think anybody feels like 100's anytime soon. In fact, 100 might not be this year. I think 100's not this year. Maybe end of the year. I don't know. But I'm hoping that something crazy happens. That as disruptive as AI's looking like on the downside right now, that it can do the same on the upside in an instant. So look, this is where this gets really tricky, where I want to keep streaming and showing I want to show this. I want to show the building. If we keep having like 10-minute delay or a 30-minute like yesterday or something, like makes that tricky. And again, this is a beta, so this is just happening because there's so much happening behind the scenes and it's all really cool stuff. But I think the way around that is, look, if this is happening and if the plan is for these streams to be more like 3, 4, 5 hours, it's like shift over to like some of these videos that teach to prompt. It's like shift over, like there's no reason we can't use ChatGPT and practice prompting or do something else, like another part of our, I want to replace my job using everything, not just Minds, right? The goal isn't to replace my job with Minds, it's to replace my job with all the tools I have. And so that would include OpenClaw. I just need to get that. So if this is slow, then it's like, okay, we start pushing on Grok, or we push on ChatGPT, or we push on Claude. Because we're going to also tackle newsletter. We're going to tackle show. I want to tackle the show. I want it automated. I want an avatar in the show. I want to switch to StreamYard, off StreamYard onto OBS. And I want to try to automate like data feeds into it too. So all those things. I have a website too, right? I would like to build out a website that like shows off some of this stuff. I've got this. This is just like a domain I own just for fun, right? NFTLDR.io. I built the little fact-checking little tool here just for fun. It doesn't work right now. But like experiment building a website too. Just a lot of stuff we can do. All just to learn. Yeah, it shouldn't be slow. It shouldn't. This should take, I mean, I think it's like 90 seconds is like the average time. Help me, DK. Yeah, DK, what would you help with? Let's crowdsource this fucking thing. So let me give even the bigger picture. So like, and I think I said this yesterday. If my show is going to be about replacing my job, I want Shaw to pop in here, right? I want Shaw to come on the show. I think it's a great way to get guests on and interview them. Come on the show, shill your shit, give me some tips that I can use to get myself fired, right? I want Shaw to come on and give me some tips. I was chatting with one of the guys, that DX Terminal project? They got their agents that are going to be trading today. They already are trading, but you can deposit money today. Chatting with one of the guys on the team, said, you guys should come on. Perfect example. They've got one of the hottest things in AI right now. Get them on the show, talk about their product and their project and what they're doing. Just like I've had all last year, all these projects on, have them do that. Part of the context is like, it comes back around to like, help me too. While you're here, help me, give me some tips. Help me prompt. Help me get myself fired. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Or give me and the audience some best practices and tell us stuff we should be looking at. But I just think framing it around that could be fun for interviews. Well, DK, dude, yes, because I know you know this shit. So yeah. I don't like that this is delayed again because it kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, man, hang on. This taking a few minutes isn't crazy. The fact that I gave it a bunch of links to read and told it to go search. So maybe it's having a cognition right now. But like the past few weeks, this is what stopped me from using this fully it kept me from pushing on it to do the newsletter. I'll show you where we're at right now. Kept me from doing it fully because if I go an hour with no reply, well, that's like an hour of like, well, is it back in the next hour? Am I waiting 2 hours total or 3, or is it just another 5 minutes? It kept me from actually getting my newsletter done. That's a problem. Like, come on, that's a problem. So let me show you where I'm at for this week's newsletter and what I've done. I took its base section and I'm going to use it. And it doesn't sound like my wording. I might tweak that. I might tweak it. I don't care if it doesn't sound like me yet. I'm going to write like the little headline for it. Again, it's about base leaving optimism. So I'll write that, but I took 2 of its bullet points off. I'm going to keep these. I'm going to write one, or I'll send it back to this guy and say, write, speculation about a base token. Here's a link, right? Maybe I'll have it give me that last bullet point, but this is mostly complete. I just need to grab an image, write the headline. I can consider that part done. This doesn't take long, by the way, right? Okay. I got to feel, so I'm skipping my meeting I should be in right now. They're all huddling and I imagine they're talking about this. Clarity Act, I also consider done. It's got the poly market odds thing. It's got, this is fine for me. I think this is, and I don't think it's excellent. I think it's fine. Peep the charts. I need to find, oh, I didn't show this part to you guys yet. It did the peep the charts section. Let me show that. It also was doing something I didn't ask it to do, which is it kept going. It kept going and it was sourcing stuff from the outside that I didn't ask it for. Like I did not ask it to do. Funny enough, it's remembering God. You know what? This is interesting. I didn't ask it to do this. I don't think I showed it my top 5, down and up. It just kind of did that. I don't know why. So hang on. Let me show you the last thing it did. Okay. It gave me, I gave it all these I gave it all these links to stories. So the Lobstar, 5% of the supply sent to a guy who dumped it. The Citrini article. What else? Anthropic, that story we were talking about with Anthropic, right? Zyber is on here. Again, this is all not amazing, but it's what I want right now. I'll work on amazing. Some of this I'm going to zap. Most of it I'm going to keep. So I thought I did really good, right? I gave it a couple more articles. Actually, no. This is for the NFT section. Now, I don't think these articles or posts were detailed enough. I don't think these told the full story of what was going on. So I asked it to use SearchX and Search Web to pad those so it had full context about these things. It did okay. And I don't like how it worded this one, but TokenWorks Mint Season 2 launched February 23rd with a unique 80% vesting structure. Not good enough. I don't know that I'll use those. If I do, fine, but I don't think it's enough. Little thing about Dester, little thing about normies. The NFT part wasn't good enough, I don't think. But I want to get to a different part here too, and I'm going to show you. I'll go back here. The AI stuff it gave me, I think, was good enough. It's good enough. I'm going to keep most of those, and I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to keep most of them. The NFT stuff, I think I'm going to start over, give it better. I think the source links weren't good enough. They didn't have much detail, so I'm going to give it new. I'm going to give it some new stuff. And there's not a lot happening in NFTs now anyways. Now, what happened when I got here was oh, fuck, I didn't even tell him about the sales thing I do. Right, I have a quick little blurb about sales and transactions, buyers, sellers, up, down, whatever. Compare it to the prior week. So I gave him this, and then I gave it a link to the Crypto Slam global page where it shows the weekly volume. So I said, hey, let's add this into your instructions. Let me find that. Oh, he also mixed. I forgot he did that. He also mixed those two sections. And I don't think my response was good enough, right? I don't think that's right. More and more, I'm being able to identify what's wrong pretty quickly. You mix those sections, never do this. And then I should probably give him a check. It's you mix these, don't do that, do this, right? And then always verify that there's two separate sections, again, give him the full thing again. I think that's the way to do it. Where did I give him? There, I think it's here. Yeah, so I said let's try something new, add it to your list of tasks or whatever. So I told him, in addition to the 1-sentence points, I do a data review of the market. Here's an example, right? All I did is copy paste what I did before, and I told him where I grabbed the info from. Right? What's up, Pryor? Yeah. Told him where I get it from, and I just said, write this part for me. And he did it wrong. He gave it back to me, and he hallucinated all the data. Double checked, and you got all the data wrong. And then I ended up saying, well, let's see if he can take a screenshot and read that better. So I took a screenshot and I circled the 2 weeks that he's comparing. And I think he got it wrong again. But this time I went to the translator. So I went to the translator first and I said, here's what I'm trying to have him do. He keeps getting the data wrong. How do I write the prompt so he does it right? And this is what the translator gave me. Break it down. Data extraction phase, delta identification, semantic fusion. Again, you can just see you got to tell it so much more. You really got to break it down. So it gave him the URL. It told him what categories I'm looking for: sales, buyers, sellers, transactions, average sale price, trade profits. So it told him what he's looking for. Then it said, locate the percentage change associated with each metric compared to the prior week. It's not on the site, so I wonder if he's just doing that on his own, which in the end he is. Yeah. If the dashboard doesn't provide a direct change percentage, you must perform the calculation, current, prior, right? He's got the formula. Construct a sentence, dense summary sentence using the following grammar. So he breaks down the formatting. You must cross-reference the output against the raw table. If the current value in your summary doesn't match the current value in the table exactly, the output's a failure, and then no bolding, M dashes. What? He got it right after that. Like, he fucking got it right. So gave him that information. He spit it out for me, and it was accurate. Why did it twice? Let me look at the timing. You can catch these things mid-cognition, and then they'll try it again thinking they didn't give you the output because it maybe didn't send yet or it hasn't registered it's sent. So it can dupe those things sometimes. But yeah, anyway, so perfect. It was accurate. It got it right. My prompt didn't get him to do it right, but the mind that's giving me the prompt got him to do it right. Again, I suck at prompting, got to get way better. Every single time I've used a prompt from the mind, every single time it's worked basically the first time, like almost without fail. And I'm only saying almost because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm like pretty damn certain that's been the case, that every time I've done it, it's worked right. So again, it just means that I don't prompt well. The more I recognize that, the more I keep using this, the better I'll get, where hopefully I don't have to rely on this at all. Like, right? That's the goal. The goal is I don't use a mind to help me prompt. The goal is I know how to prompt it so well on my own. That's the goal. But night and day difference. I was so excited last night, even getting to this point, which is like a 50% complete newsletter. I was so excited to get there because it actually was responding the way I wanted. It was giving me what I wanted. Now, he kept going. I didn't like this at all, right? That he kept having cognitions and was going. Now, this is on me. I got to tell him, hey, don't do anything unless I ask you to. That's up for you to control. You can tell your mind how often you want it to think. And I might be like, dude, think once a day. Have one cognition a day. Have one at noon. Have one at 5 p.m. You tell it exactly what you want, and he'll do exactly what you ask, and they'll remember that. So where I'm at now, the intro I'm going to write, the updates about Ethos Swarm and Animoca Mines, I'm going to write that. I'm going to use the base section. I need to write the headline. I'm going to put a picture there, but I'm going to keep the rest. Same thing with Clarity Act. I'm going to write the headline. I'm going to drop a picture. I'm going to keep the rest. I'm going to use that. This part, well, just like in the NFT part where I had market data, I'm going to have him do this. I'm going to have him do market data too. What I don't know is, am I giving that specific mind too much already? Because already he's doing peep the charts for AI. So he's giving me the 1-sentence bullet points. He's also doing the 1-sentence bullet points for NFTs. I don't know if that's too much to have him do that, 2 separate categories, and then also do the NFT like data calculations, and then also the AI data calculations. So that might be actually 2 separate minds. One that's formatting the bullet point stuff, and a separate mind that's doing the data part. As simple as it is, all I'm worried about now is not overcomplicating things. And at this point, this mind's doing, then it would be like 4 separate things. I only want them doing like one thing. So I got to think through that. And I'll ask the other mind, like, what's best? Like, should I break it down or can he handle that? If he can handle it, great. So I'll have that mind or a different one do the AI market data. I'm also, actually, let me look at the calendar, because if these start replying, I'm just going to stay live and just keep doing this. Like, yeah. Because I'm in this funny middle ground where if it's down, I just want to go and knock it out manually, but I really do want to get this to work. If I do it manually, it's like I'll recreate it tomorrow and actually start pushing on doing a daily newsletter. So, all right. Then where else? Okay, I'm gonna have AI do this. So I go to, I'll show you. It can do this. The fact that it could do that other thing, the NFT data, then I know it can do this part too, which is our indexes. Like this is simple. This is not it calculating anything. It's literally going to this page and just pulling this. Get me the number and get me the percent decline or percent it's up. So it's just going to put this, and for each of the other indexes, it's just going to plug it in here. So it's just going to edit the the right side here. That's it. And dude, I wonder if it could grab me the image. If it can grab me a screenshot of this, that would be cool. That would be pretty cool. So I'm gonna have it do that. I will try to have it do this part. I kind of think it might hallucinate because, like, here's my rule. Here's how I would explain it. And so far, when I tried before, it failed. It's go to CoinGecko, give me the top 7 losers or top 7 gainers, top 7 losers, format it like this. But you can't take all. Like, it's not out of all cryptos. It's only out of the top 100 cryptos. I think it could do that, though. I think it can now that I think about it and if I give it the right prompt. So top 100 cryptos, top 5 gainers, top 5 losers, format it like this. All that data is right on the site, right? It's not like it's got to run calculations. One sec, guys. We back. Okay. So want AI to do that, want my mind to do this part. So I guess there's like multiple things. Headlines, by the way. Headlines is the one thing it did perfectly, needs no tweak. By the way, it wasn't much it had to do, but it did it. This saves me a decent amount of time. It saves me time reading the article, typing out the headline, copying and highlighting and then right clicking and hyperlinking the link. Like that sounds so stupid. I'm sorry, this is what minds are really good at and many other agents, but minds are great at this. Like a tedious task that this would probably take me 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes. Like, yeah, like click through each one, read it, summarize it basically. Type it out, hyperlink it, 5 to 10 minutes, but probably closer to 10. And usually it's longer than this too, right? So I'm going to throw more links, but that I can just send these and the reply I can just copy paste here. That saves me 10 minutes. So over the course of a month, that's going to save me 40 minutes. Actually, that's fucking awesome. If it can do that and it can do this part, this takes me 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, screenshot, track them down, write it out. That's 5 minutes. It can save me 10 minutes there, 5 minutes here. This part, this part takes a minute. This part's very quick. 2 minutes for this. I'll tell you this part is the most tedious thing I do, probably out of everything. Like it actually is. Okay. I actually have a spreadsheet. The way I did this before is in a spreadsheet. It's crazy actually like quantifying this right now because I never thought about it. I have a spreadsheet and I log this manually every week. I create a bunch of new rows. I copy paste this like chart to the section above and I repopulate everything. Also, the numbers adjust over the week. It's always like it's live. Some things are categorized as wash sales later on, right? So the numbers change. So I have to go back to the prior week and in my chart, edit sales and sellers and buyers and transactions and average sale price and trade profit. So I do it for last week in the chart. I do it for this week in the chart. I then go to a percentage calculator website and I then go and compare the numbers against each other and I get the percentage and I put it in the chart. And then trade profits, because they're negative, the percentage calculator I use doesn't read negatives well. So then I go to ChatGPT for that part. Altogether, this is actually funny. I actually love doing this. There's something about me entering stuff in cells that gets me in flow state. It does. If I'm ever stuck on writing my newsletter and I want to get in the zone, I do this part and it gets me locked the fuck in. It just does. When I'm like autopilot typing stuff, love it. But this part takes me 15 minutes. It takes a good 15 minutes to like put all the numbers in, go get the thing, and then it's go back here and just like, it's simple, but write the sentence. Just write that very generic sentence. That's good 15 minutes. It did it for me now that I got it dialed in. It did it for me in an email. So altogether, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This might be saving me, honestly, like very honestly, this might be saving me up to like 20 to 30 minutes already, just those sections. Now, like nothing else I'm doing is hard. This is never it's never been a hard task. It's tedious. This part also can be kind of just like tedious. Getting the main topic and summarizing it and then the bullet points. I mean, anybody who writes knows you can get stuck writing something very basic. Just like, fuck, I worded it stupid. Whatever. It's like, yeah, these individual sections, dude, sometimes they take 10 minutes. Sometimes doing these takes 30 minutes, 45 minutes when I'm just stuck. Sometimes you just get stuck writing. Now you're not even being a creative writer, but sometimes it's just like you just get stuck. If it can do this for me regularly and do it with here's the links, give me the output, and it can take 5 minutes instead of 20, 30 minutes. And don't get me wrong, sometimes this part, especially when I'm very locked in, this whole section manually can be 10 minutes. Like it can sometimes be oh yeah, I know this well. Here's the summary. I know all the important things. Hyperlink. I could do that in 10 minutes. On a good day, 10 minutes for that. This thing in the end might save me altogether hours, because tell you the other part that's the most time consuming part is the research. It's getting all the links, right? That is the biggest time saver. If I can get it where it's now got the newsletter format right and it's structuring it right, it sounds good. If I can then go have it reverse engineer from all those sources, if I can say, hey, read all those links, reverse engineer how you could go find those links for me. And so next week, I want you to find me the stories. That's where it starts saving a lot of time. That is super time consuming, finding the stories. And by the way, I find them all week. So I find them all week. I save them in my bookmarks. Then I got to go through my bookmarks and scroll and find them. I've got to, it's a terrible process, but this thing takes hours. Again, this takes probably 10 hours a week. It's going to be pretty great when it's doing it for me. And again, we're close. What did I say before? We're 50% of the way there. I don't think we're 50. I think we're like 40%. I think we're 40% there to having this automated. I think that's fair. Because like if it just gave me what it gave me today, that's not enough. But I think we're 40% of the way there. And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work, which is badass. All right. I'm going to kill it here. And I think we're going to come, well, not I think. If I get these emails back, I'm going to fire up the stream and I'm just going to continue on this because I do want to build out the rest live. But if it saves that, I'm sorry, that's going to be a game changer for me. If I can change my newsletter to be a 1 or 2 hour a week thing instead of 10, like, man, let's do this thing, All right, hit the like on the show, subscribe to Crypto Slam on YouTube. Keep an eye out. Again, if it replies back, I'm going live and we'll knock this thing out. But tomorrow we'll continue either way. If it completes it or not, we'll start a new daily thing and then we'll start working on the show and we'll start getting the guests back through and we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to do. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you later. And for sure, it's capable. It is. It's a me thing. All right, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.